Hey everyone, first of all, I want to thank you all so much. Many of you have every day chosen to get up and do a meditation to send peaceful intentions to Minneapolis. And, I just want to thank you so much for that because, I believe that one of the most sacred acts we could ever perform is this idea of taking ourselves off the throne of our thinking and putting someone else up there and sending intentions, right, for that. And many of you have done that this week for complete strangers in another city. And quite honestly, that's being part of the solution. And that is, I hate to say it, it's a very rare gift that is often given. So I want to thank you for that opportunity. As I said, I do believe it's one of the most sacred acts we can perform, which is why you may feel so good after you finish the meditation. So I'm going to encourage you to keep meditating, keep at it, keep sending intentions. And, each day, if you find somebody who you feel like could use some intentions, just beam some light at them. And you're going to find that life changes quite a bit for you. And I've also decided that because of the way things are rolling right now, just in the last, 36 hours, I've heard some really challenging, dark situations and really heavy situations. And, I know how much they can, things like that can really burden all of our hearts. And it's important for us to have some skills in our nervous system to be able to manage that. Understand that the world right now in a lot of ways is grieving, okay? And if we're grieving, then there are ways that you want to take care of yourself that enables you to take care of your heart and give yourself the resilience so that tomorrow you can get up and give it all a whirl again. So one of the things to do about that is I often encourage people, especially if you're going through, say, a life challenge, like say someone's going through a divorce, and you go through a divorce, like everything's up in the air, like nothing's like, you know, anything could change in a divorce. And so I will say to people, if you are going through a hard, challenging time like that, maybe you're unemployed, maybe your job you don't know, maybe you go to work and you're afraid of COVID, I don't know, whatever it is. But if you could stop 3 times a day, check into your breathing, breathe deep on the exhalation, go into the parasympathetic nervous system, move yourself into calm, and then pre-pave and send peaceful intentions on ahead of you to the people in your life, and become this vessel for light and goodness. I guarantee you it will not be easy. We all have neural patterns that we tend to regress to under stress. So I am not going to tell you that this kind of grace is cheap or easy. It's not. But the alternative is really not something I'm willing to tolerate anymore. And so the alternative is we stay as victims, we go into the negative kvetching mind, we ruminate on things that we don't want to create in our life, and they're not going to serve us. So I'm going to strongly encourage you to, quote, become, and I've been known for saying this for years now, intolerant of feeling miserable. Become intolerant of feeling miserable. So understand that a lot of this anxiety is a body phenomenon. And if you let your mind run, your body's going to run right with you. So if you constantly bring your awareness back to the body and you exhale and you just keep working with that, your mind goes off and running, come it back to the body, exhale, come back to the body, exhale, come back to the body, exhale. If you start adding some peaceful intentions to that, sending love and light to situations, even add that to it as well. And some days you're going to be so stressed that to even have that kind of mental discipline may seem like you can't even do that. I've been at those days too. I know exactly how it's like. At that point, I tend to work at a higher level. But the idea is that understand that by coming back, bringing our awareness back to the body, is one of the quickest ways to eliminate the stress response, okay? So I just want to leave that with you because I'm realizing that, this peace project on some level has got to continue. We're just, in general, as far as our stress responses, we were kind of off the hook before COVID. We were running around in that high beta brainwave mind, stressing out all the time and feeling really separate and scared as it was. And now with all of this extra, societal challenges, people are really amped up. We're starting to go off in the stratosphere with our anxiety. So because of that, I've decided that for the next 4 weeks on Wednesday evenings, I'm going to be offering a Zoom program through Facebook. And the idea, or I'll be putting it out through Facebook, so I'll be putting out an email, and where we can come together, we can chat for a little bit. I'm going to drop in an intentional key or tool. And then we're going to do a group meditation for peace. We're going to talk about what is it we want to dream into this world, what is it we want to create, and then also send intentions to our own life. So it's going to be instructive. It's going to help teaching you about the intentional coherence lifestyle. It's going to help with world events. I would love for it to grow over time so that we can every Wednesday night know that we're beaming an area with love and light, and just so that, and I know it's going to help all of the participants move their nervous system into these more resilient, buoyant states. So you see, understand that intention, there's a real key to intention. One of the most important keys to intention is this idea that we're learning the discipline of being able to hold an intention and not argue with it. Okay, so this idea that not allowing our doubts and fears to come in, not to allow our anxieties come in, but this idea that just the way we're holding somebody else up to send an intention to, can we hold an intention up and just allow it to be, to honor it, to respect it? Because I've been saying this for years, that until we can hold peace in our hearts and our minds, there is no way we're going to be able to get it in the external worlds. So peace truly does begin in our hearts, truly becomes in us sitting in our living room, and whether it's an intention for the world or intention for our life, being able to sit there, shoulders back, head up, send an intention and completely honor it. And I will tell you that I have been through some really hard times in life. I think that the universe kind of basically said, okay, you want to teach intention, then we're gonna have to drag you through the mud to like teach you like the grit and the work of it all. And I will tell you that I have been through times where I've just had to hold a signal, hold a note through some really challenging times. And most of the times everything would go beautiful. But I do remember this one time that the intentions didn't work. And yet I have such kind of good feelings about those moments when I chose to hold that note. I chose to honor that which I thought was good and right and true. And I still look back at those times with, even though maybe it didn't work out the way I'd prefer, it all worked out in the long run great. But even though it wasn't the way I would have preferred at the time, I had a sweet spot knowing that I was not betraying myself. I was not cowering to external situations, that I was holding firm on that which I intended. And you start to gain this honor and dignity with yourself when you are willing to hold the line towards goodness, hold the line towards beauty, hold the lines towards honor, hold the line towards each of us as feeling your nobility as a human being, and this deep respect. And the idea that until we can hold that space in our hearts, then how can we ever expect something like that to manifest around us, correct? So that's one of the reasons why I've been so passionate about meditation, because for me, what it does is calibrate me back to my essence, what we call in the mind mirror literature our essential being. And I know that each one of us has this gorgeous essential being, but our societal pressures are basically pummeling out all of our goodness, all of our sweetness, all of our beauty. And it's so tragic. I've often thought that the most tragic loss, like there's a lot of losses in this world, loss of water and loss of food and poverty, all sorts of challenges. But one of the most tragic losses is the loss of human potential in our hearts, because it's literally right under our nose. But because of societal pressures, a lot of our goodness and sweetness gets kind of pushed down. And even if it does come out, you're called either a Pollyanna or you're called a whatever, for it, it's not valued. I mean, if you just look at Netflix, I mean, beauty is not valued. Those really sweet spaces. And what I've come to learn over the years is beauty is strength. right? And just try it, you know, just go look at something beautiful and then look at something that you're not feeling, you don't feel as beautiful, and muscle test yourself and see what do you feel like is better. Listen to music that you feel like is beautiful music, and listen to music that you feel is cacophonous, and lift a 5-pound weight and see which one you're stronger on. You're going to find that beauty is what strengthens us, and that has been a discipline of mine. It's been a teaching that I've received personally, and it's really how I've been learning to operate in this world. And quite honestly, there's not enough beauty in this world, right? So understand that, you know, I believe Andrew Tang and I were having a conversation earlier today, and he was talking about a flower, you know, going towards the sun in the nature, right? And I always love that image of a flower coming through asphalt or something like that, that we can still stretch and reach towards beauty. We can reach towards the sun, and we may be the only little flower up there, but you can hold your shoulders back and head high as that flower, so that you could be a beacon of hope for others. So please stay with us. Please, if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, I'm going to be offering more and more programming to help strengthen all of us. We're all going through a deep grieving, and we need to find our way back home in the nervous system. We need to find ourselves back to center if we're going to have that resilience, that strength that we need to make those really hard changes in our life, to make those really hard conversations happen, to make you know, to make this peace come into the world. Everything's kind of stirred up right now, and if we don't have a really clear vision on where we're going to waste a lot of time, and a lot more people are going to get hurt. So this idea of a clarity of vision of exactly where you want to march to, and when life starts giving you something opposite, you sit down on your mat and you just hold that vision, and you just hold that vision. And I'm telling you, this Peace Project would not be here today if I did not keep recalibrating, going back to center, back to center, back to center, and I'd be all discouraged, and I'd be really low, and I'd been looking at everything, saying, why am I doing this? Anybody who knows me, I would say that for years. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And then I'd recalibrate, and I'd be back on my mat, and I'd be back, and it's only because of that recalibration that this project is still going. So I know these dark places. I've been there, I've been through them, and that is why I teach my students to fall up. This idea that when things are really hairy and scary, there are times I just fall up, I go right into the light, and I will stay there as long as I need until I get that clarity to move on. And that is time well spent. And the other thing I need you to tell you is that the more you meditate, the more, and this isn't just me talking, this is well known in meditation circles, and that is that when more synchronies happen, and there seems to be, it's almost like because we're getting quiet and we're syncing with the field, then you basically sync up with the information around you, and things start being kind of taken care of for you. Basically, things are being held. Like, for instance, solutions to problems will emerge before the problem emerges. So you'll find a solution, and then a little while later you got the problem, and you already have the solution because it already showed up first. It's called synchronistic experiences. Deepak Chopra talked about this. Candace Pert, the neurosurgeon, famous neurosurgeon, she would talk about this. It's just a well-known secret in meditation circles. If you stay quiet and you keep your nervous system calm, there's this sea of energy that we are all walking in, and that when you learn to you got to learn how to navigate it between. But once you learn how to navigate it, you will be drawn to what you need to do, and things will be taken care of. I'm not going to tell you it's going to all go beautifully. I'm not going to tell you it's what you would have preferred, but I will tell you that there is this benevolent intelligence that is working for you right now. And in order for that intelligence to work, we basically need to become humbled. We have to need to develop the right relationship with the field. And unfortunately, a lot of us have to be kind of pegged down a little bit so that we're in right relationship for the field. It's a combination of both dignity and humility when you're working with the field. So these are just some of the things that we talk about in the Intentional Coherence athlete class. We talk about making this a lifestyle, of being able to hold high spaces or more buoyant emotions in your nervous system, and gosh, who knows, we need that more now more than ever. So if you're interested in learning more, please come out to the Intentional Coherence Lifestyle. We'd love to put together another group, another class, and it's just, I've put together that class with the absolute highest and best skills, and I've studied with some of the best people in the world. And so I've cherry picked, and whatever I put in that class is always like top notch, the highest thing things you can do, and including the group dynamics and things like that. So that's why we have people that are so dedicated to the athlete class, like we call them athletes, right? So so that's why, and I'm just been so grateful to be walking with these athletes, because we all learn from each other as well. So I guess that's it, but just know that I'm going to be on Tuesday nights on Eastern Standard Time. I will be offering, I'll put posts out on Facebook, I'll send out an email, and we can all meet on a Zoom meeting online. I'll leave it open, people can chat and talk, and then we'll do a meditation that will all help all of us reach that gorgeous essential being, the state of gorgeousness within each of us, okay? So thank you all again for your time. Please keep it up, send peaceful intentions even when you're driving, all that. Become a prayer warrior for the world, and let's do this. Let's give the world something to talk about. All right, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.